Hey everybody, welcome to J76 Gaming. I am your host, Jimmy Wild, and today I want to talk to you about Xenoblade Chronicles X, one of my favorite video games of all time, coming from one of my favorite consoles of all time, and one of my favorite series of games of all times. Now, we're talking top 5 for sure. We'll put Xenoblade up with Final Fantasy, XCOM, Civilization, Diablo, Xenoblade. Yeah, it's a good top 5, I think. Let me know in the comments what your top 5 game series are of all time. But anyway, today I want to get this running on PC. I want to talk to you about why you want to get it running on PC, what tools you'll need to get it running on PC, and how to get it configured. So stick around and let's find out. All right, before we get too far, I want to get into it. Just a short disclaimer. Anytime we start talking about emulating one platform's games on a PC, that kind of brings up piracy, and I definitely want to say that I'm not an advocate of pirating games. As a game collector, that should speak for itself, but just in case anyone is curious, I do want to point out a couple things here. Number one, here is my copy of Xenoblade Chronicles X. For giggles, here is my collector's edition manual. Here is my collector's edition copy of the game, and my launch edition Wii U. So for all you haters out there, I have spent plenty of money to get this game running, so I don't feel bad emulating it on PC, but I just want to get it out there. All right, and then also I just noticed at the time of filming, this is December 3rd, and look at this. The North American release of Xenoblade Chronicles X was December 4th, 2015. So we are right on the eve of the 8th anniversary of this game. So unintentionally, accidentally, pretty good timing on my part to put this video out. So anyways, why do we want to emulate this on PC? Well, if you have been paying attention, there is a little bit of an issue with some Wii U's. The memory may get corrupted if they sit for a long period of time. There's also the issue with storage. The largest size is 32 gig, and there's only one save file for a lot of these games. So in particular, Xenoblade, there's one save file, and this is like hundreds of hours a game, right? And do you really want to risk 100-hour game and you're backing up on external drives and blah, 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 whatever. It only makes sense to get this running on PC, something where you can have a safe environment and you can copy paste and put your save file somewhere safe. So that's where I'm going to advocate for a PC version. And also, I should point out that we wouldn't have to do any of this. We still would, let's be honest, folks. We still would, but we wouldn't have to do this if we had a Switch port for this game. I'm just saying, can we make this happen? Let's do it. It's 2023, almost 2024. We need to have this on the Switch. All right, let's get rolling. What are we looking at? We are looking at the Cemu Emulator. Now, a lot of the content that I've found for this has been version 1. something, and this is specifically I want to cover 2.0. And now you can see there is a Reddit post with kind of the announcement of the 2.0 version, and on Reddit there is also a big how to get Xenoblade working, but this is all in 1. something or other. So I'm going to focus specifically on 2.0, and I think in particular we're looking at 2.0.59 is the version that we're going to get today. So anyways, there's a little bit on this page you're going to want to look at. We got some system requirements, but the graphics card part is kind of important. You may want to look at this depending on your GPU version, and it's got a little note, but for us, we're going to be focused on mostly Vulkan. That works with NVIDIA. AMD says avoid OpenGL, and Intel Vulkan is recommended. So we're going to stick with Vulkan unless you have a very specific reason to run OpenGL. All right, let's get rolling. So first thing we need to do, we need to download the emulator. So on our Cemu page, we're going to go to download the latest experimental version 2.0 recommended. And that will bring us over to the GitHub page. And on GitHub, we will see 2.0 59 is the latest, so we'll click that. And on here we'll have a list of different versions to grab. Specifically, we are looking for Windows x64, so we'll grab that. Go ahead and save that to our downloads folder. And let's just go ahead and get rid of this. We don't need it. All right, so we have our download. Let's go ahead and extract it. All right, so here, now I should point out that this emulator is not installed, so we just extracted it and it will run. So from once you've extracted it, you can put it wherever you want. Now I have a specific folder that I want to put it along with my games folder. So I am just going to go ahead and copy it over to here. And that will get us going. So we actually don't need that anymore. All right. Now, first thing that we need to do over here is run the application. And what that's going to do is that's going to create a bunch more files for us in here. All right, so we're starting to get a couple more. And let's get ready and go through the configuration. All right, so here we are. Now, the first option here is the MLC path, and you can see this is the Wii U internal storage flash emulated. And I'm just gonna leave it where it is by default. If you wanna change that, knock yourself out. The second thing I wanna do is the game path. So let's go ahead and browse and find the games right here inside the folder. And next we're going to want to download the community graphics packs. And yes, that is very important. You are definitely going to want to do that. Do you want to view them? No, we will view them in a minute. All right, so we got the MLC path, we got the game path, we got the graphics packs. Let's hit next. Now, important thing here is we have a couple of things that you want to know for hotkeys, specifically control tab. I'll use that and I'll show that in a little bit, and escape to get out of full screen. But anyway, Alt Enter, toggle full screen. But next up, important, configuring input. Now, unless you are a savage, you will be using an Xbox controller on your PC. Just kidding, PlayStation folks. I love all consoles. But I'm using Xbox. So I'm gonna make Xbox profile, and we are going to emulate the gamepad. If you'd like to emulate the Pro controller, classic, whatever, doesn't matter. But I'm using gamepad specifically because that's how I like to play this game. Now we want to go into controller, and the API is X input, and controller is controller 1. We'll go ahead and add. Now the cool thing about 2.0 is that this populates everything for you. In 1.0, you had to go and set everything manually. Now you can still manually set things, but I just let it go ahead and do it for me. So that's that. And also a thing you should point out is sometimes the application will make you save things and sometimes it won't. Sometimes just setting it sets it. This is one of the cases where you have to click save. So we're gonna go ahead and click save, get a profile saved, and then we'll close. So what do we have left here? Do we want to start the game full screen? Sure, why not? Do we want to have a separate pad screen? And I'm going to say no for that, but we can take a look at that later. And do we want to check for updates? Of course, we always want to check for updates. And no, we don't want to show this again. Close. All right. So now it found my game. So that's pretty cool. But let's go ahead and take a look at what we need to do now that we have the emulator set up. All right, before we get into further config, I do want to show that this is how this runs. I did put a shortcut on my desktop so I can get back to it, but we're going to double click and go ahead and see that the game actually does run. Now, a couple things I want to point out. We are in offline mode. We got offline up in the corner. And you can see there's these little notifications happening in the upper left as well. We're going to talk about those in a second here. So let's go ahead and hit escape, get out of here, and exit, and then go back in. All right. So first up, let's go into options and let's go into general settings first. Now, there's a couple of things here by default. Do you care about Discord? Yes. Updates? Yes. We already looked at this. Permanent storage? Yes. Screenshots? Disable screen saver? Yes. All right. Let's head to graphics. Like I said, we'll be using Vulkan. You can see my graphics card, and I'm going to turn VSync onto match emulated display, and I'm not going to change anything else here. Now, there's been some debate online I've seen of which upscaler, and honestly, I didn't see any difference between them, so I just leave it on the bicubic. For audio, I will point out that the default setting for the volume is only 50%. So I just go ahead and crank that up so I don't have to worry about that later. And now the overlay. So like some of the troubleshooting, or I should say overclocking stuff that we have for PC has an overlay that will show you the FPS, CPU usage, RAM usage, whatever. If you want to use that just to see, go ahead, you can set it to whatever location you would like it. I'll leave it off. And then also, like I pointed out, there is the notifications that were coming up in the left. And if you like that kind of thing, that's cool, but I'm playing a game, I don't really want to see that, so I'm going to turn that to disabled as well. So we shouldn't get any notifications up in the upper left. And now for account, this is definitely where I'm drawing a line here. I don't think that we should get into enabling online mode. Now, I did see that there are some ways that you can connect to Nintendo Network. There's the pre-Tendo Network. I just, you know what? Let's just leave it all off. We don't want to get too far into the weeds there. I think that crosses a line for me morally of getting into, too much of a emulation. So anyways, and then there's a debug here. So this is one of those cases where just setting it sets it, so there's no save button. So you just go ahead and hit the X to close it. All right, let's take a look at a couple of the remaining things. In the options menu, there is the separate gamepad view, which was something I pointed out earlier. And then if you do want to make input changes, you can go to your input settings. But from here, I like to go into the graphic pack, and I'll show you around some of the mods that you can get in the graphics pack. So first things first, actually, I'm going to go down to graphics first. We'll start at graphics. So here's where you can set your resolution. I am on a 1440p monitor, so I'm going to set it to 1440. And since we are upscaling a little bit, I would like to just kind of bump up some of the resolution and quality just a bit. Feel free to play around with these settings, see what works best for your system, and then make sure we got graphics turned on. Now for workarounds, I do turn the brightness workaround on for NVIDIA, and I think that's it for there. I do want to get into a couple of mods here. I generally prefer to keep things as vanilla as possible, but there's a couple of cool things here that we can work with. So the FPS++, getting it set to, you can set it to 60 FPS, which I like, so we'll keep that. And now remember I pointed out up in the corner there was the offline label, so I'm gonna actually hide that because that kind of annoys me. And let's see, now hand in hand, collectibles, no, where is it? Yes, in Blade. All right, so the problem with playing the game offline is that you don't have the squad tasks, and that's important to me because I want the reward tickets, especially when you get into collecting some of the parts for like your Ares 70 and 90. So I do want to have those if possible, and this mod will actually simulate them even while you're offline. So I turn that on, and I do leave it to random because why not? Random's more fun. And you can turn on the Global Nemesis mission, so I turn that on. And the one indulgence that I do allow myself is to turn on the reward tickets so you get more when you do complete the squad tasks and stuff. So you can set that as high as you would like to go, but 2 or 3 is fine. But you do want to, I do like to keep it capped to the particular level. So the higher your level, the higher your cap. So I do like to keep that on there. But just to sneak in just a few more reward tickets, just a little bit of little icing on this delicious cake. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So let's go ahead and exit out here, and let's go ahead and take a look, see how it looks. All right, there's one more thing that I wanted to do that I forgot about. So there's edit game profile. Now this to me feels like like a leftover from the 1.0 version, and kind of it doesn't necessarily blend perfectly well with the 2.0 stuff. So if you come in here, depending on your CPU, you can go from single to multi-core. So you can run multi-core, and then the number of threads, I just leave that as default. I've seen some people that recommend going all the way up to 100,000, but maybe we'll put it at 60,000, whatever. Now the graphics, so now here, I feel like this should be set to Vulkan already, because we've already gone through all the setup and set everything to Vulkan. So I'm just going to set this to Vulkan, and then this shader accuracy, it does, where's it at? I don't know why it's not popping up now, but there it goes. It does say recommended true, so I leave that to true, and then controller 1, Xbox. So a little bit of duplicated stuff that seems like it should be smoothed out, but hopefully in the next upcoming patches, this will get sorted. But anyways, so we'll leave it that way, and go ahead and close. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first launch. All right, now through the magic of editing, I did copy in my save game from a previous install. So let's go ahead and start this, and we'll start it, and I'll have some gameplay that we can take a look at really quick. All right, so we'll hit continue. And you can see the load times. They don't feel awesome, but they're not too bad. So anyways, so here's my, I don't know, I have like maybe 5 hours into the game here, so I do have a little bit of a party. I do want to show you a couple things. One is the gamepad view. So if we do Control Tab, it will switch it to what would be looking at the gamepad. Control Tab to go back. And if you remember, Control Tab, the gamepad, is how you actually fast travel. So let's say we want to head out to Primordia, and we'll just go ahead and click on this guy, fast travel, and oops, we will lock up. There it goes. All right. So here we have the world running at 1440. It is stuttering a little bit, so we may have to go back and tweak some of the settings. Maybe set it down to single core. That seems to run a little bit better. I mean, I think it looks beautiful. I've always thought this game looks beautiful. It is very nice to have it on PC. What's up, buddy? Yeah, God, look at this. This world just blows me away. That this was running on 8 years ago on a Wii U. But anyways, actually it seems like it's kind of smoothed this stuff out a little bit. So maybe I won't change any settings. But yeah, what you would be seeing, I should point out, is if you did leave the notifications on, the notifications up in the upper left would show you when it was loading something new. So, for example, if you change zones, it would load new shaders for that zone specifically. So like when it stuttered right there, it might be showing us that it was loading something new, and then it probably won't do that again once it's actually loaded those. But yeah, here we go. Whee! We'll go out, look out over the water, and we will say thanks for watching the video. Once again, Nintendo, let's get this ported over to Switch, or Monolith Soft. Let's get this over to Switch as soon as possible so we can enjoy it. But thanks for watching. I will put in the description, I'll put the companion post on the J76 Gaming website. Now I'll have a little bit more information of where you can get the game. If you don't have the capacity to make your own copy. I know it is a lot of work to make your own copy, which includes, you know, putting homebrew on your Wii U, which some people may or may not want to do. So anyways, I'll have some more in that post on the website, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I will see you later.